Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and this is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. I'm laughing, I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a minute. Lots to talk about on the show tonight. Jadon Sancho desperate to join PSG, we'll talk about that. Also, the latest on Ugarte. Also, we're ready. We're ready to do the show, but I think Man United are ready as well. I don't agree that there might not be any excuses this season, but once Ugarte comes in, I look at this United side, and we can talk about it tonight. I think we're ready. I really do. We'll talk about that. I was laughing because somebody in the chat just said, so unreliable, it's not acceptable. Mate, it's fucking YouTube. It's free. It ain't Netflix. It ain't the BBC. You're not paying anything for this. It's free. Unreliable, unacceptable. What do you think I am? I haven't served you a bloody steak and chips cold. It's fucking YouTube. It's free. Anyway, there we land. Let's go. Lots to talk about on the show tonight. Look, first thing I want to say is that Ugarte, I suppose, is the best place to start. Actually, the best place to start is that we're sponsored by Manscaped. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. They've got a brand new lawnmower. It's got like a new, it's just amazing. I don't want to talk in too much detail because it's down there, but the new design is absolutely incredible. 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. They've got loads of other products as well, like the beard trimmer, 11 different lengths. The handyman, which you can charge up and just have a clean shave. But this is the one. Ugarte is going to be a brilliant midfield signing for Manchester United, but this can be your midfield signing, if you know what I mean. Midfield down there. Trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. Free worldwide delivery and 20% off with the code TUS. It's absolutely brilliant. Brand new design. I've just upgraded mine. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Check it out with Manscaped. Right. Thank you very much to Manscaped. Simon Evans has gifted a membership. You're a legend. Did we sign the 16-year-old from Arsenal, says Dex? A lot of people keep asking this question and I keep having to give you the same answer. Like we're doing a compensation thing with Arsenal. Ronaldo channel has got 6 million in 6 hours. United Stand collab incoming, says Akshay. Sweet Sue Ronaldo YouTube channel, do a collab. If Ronaldo really wants to do YouTube, he should do a collab. I'm intrigued to see what Ronaldo's going to do. I don't see him doing watch-alongs for Man United against Fulham. I really don't. But and I also don't see. Look, maybe he will. But I think Ronaldo's YouTube strategy might be a little bit different, considering he could bottle his farts and sell them for $1 billion. Having been on YouTube for 10 years, it's interesting, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get into the show. I want to get straight into this. Look, there's been a few updates today about Ugarte. There's also a good update around Jadon Sancho. And I really want to talk about, we're ready. We are ready. I know Ten Hag says we're not ready, but I think we are. I was looking at the squad and I'm like, we are more ready than we have been for years when you look at this team once Ugarte comes in. But I will admit this. I don't even want to dwell on this too much. The positive is we're definitely going to get Ugarte. The negative is people are just producing the same stuff with a different set of words. I saw Fabrizio do it this evening, but I like Fabrizio, so I'm not going to throw him under the bus. I'm going to throw Plettigol under the bus instead. Plettigol says Man United and PSG are in. Well, look, Fabrizio comes on the channel. He's a friend of the channel. You got to have the back of your mates, you know. So Plettigol's going to get it, even though Fabrizio's done it a little bit. And I'm not criticising them because actually, in one way, it just verifies that we're actually going to end up getting them. But this is what Plettigol said. Man United and PSG are in advanced negotiations now for Ugarte, either on a permanent or a loan deal with an obligation to buy. Deal not done yet, but all parties involved want to get the deal done soon. And I read that this afternoon, and I thought this evening, and I thought, I've seen this movie. Like, I've been told this for 6 weeks. And where we are with the Ugarte deal at the moment is that everybody just keeps regurgitating the same thing. Man United and PSG are in advanced negotiations. Man United and PSG have basically done a deal. They just need to do the finer detail of the deal now. Well, they've not done a deal then, have they? Manchester United, Ugarte, Swedish Rumble, I've got to shout him out. He said, he was talking about Ugarte pushing really hard for a Man United move and basically said, I just can't envisage what that is. Is Ugarte at headquarters of PSG kicking the door down? Or, is he pushing cars over? Like, what is he at? When it says he's pushing really hard, what's he actually doing? Is he like, is he running laps around the training ground saying, sell me to Manchester United with his top off? Or is he sending strongly worded emails? Is he throwing tomatoes at the CEO's office? I mean, what is pushing really hard? What does it actually mean? Because we all champion it, don't we? Oh, Ugarte is pushing really hard for a move to Manchester United, and we all get, oh yeah, United. Ugarte's one of us. He's pushing really hard. What does it mean? I don't know. What does it actually mean? And I just think, look, the big positive, and I am taking the piss, but the big positive is if Plettigol and Fabrizio are regurgitating the same thing, everybody's pushing, everybody wants it, there's real confidence, it's really, really close. I'm convinced it's going to happen, but ultimately, Ronan Keating said it best. You say it best when you say nothing at all. If there's no updates, just don't give us one, because we can't have another update of PSG and Man United are really close. It's like a couple, isn't it? It's like a courting couple. Oh, they're really close. Tonight could be the night. Oh, he's bought a bottle of wine and she's wearing something revealing. Or he is, and she's bought the wine. I don't want to get sexist about it. Tonight could be the night. Oh, they've got a bit of Lionel Richie on. Oh, they're talking about their favourite fantasy. Oh, she's got an Uber. He's gone home for a pot noodle and a wank. It's like we know it's going to happen, but like nobody knows when it's going to happen. And I think the big positive is it is going to happen, but I'm a little bit tired. Even I'm a little bit tired of the updates of, oh, it's really close. Oh, he's pushing really hard. Oh, they both want the deal to happen. Oh, there's real big confidence it's going to happen. Oh, it could be a permanent deal. It could be a loan deal. Oh, it could be a loan deal with an obligation to buy. Like, there is literally no update. It's closer than close. It's concrete. Oh, we're all concrete about this deal. Don't you worry about that. Rock hard. But when is it going to happen? And the question is, when is it going to happen? And the answer is, nobody knows when it's going to happen. But that's sort of where we are with that. There is an update on Jadon Sancho, though, tonight. And I will give you that. Jadon Sancho, this is coming in from Fabrice Hawkins, who is a journalist for RMC Sport, but also does stuff with The Athletic. Jadon Sancho, only an hour ago, wants to join PSG, but there is nothing advanced with the clubs as of yet. I think that is quite a significant update, because Sancho is one of those players that any advisor around Jadon Sancho must be telling him to get out. Jadon Sancho himself must be wanting to get out. So it's all about whether he can get out. And I said this morning, Rashford and PSG was sort of like the fantasy for some people that wanted Rashford to go, and it never materialised. But PSG didn't go and get Leao. They didn't go and get Osimhen. They've not gone and got anybody. So actually, PSG and Sancho still does work. I think he'd be a good signing for them. I really, really do. But it seems like it's a one-way street. And this is something that we do need to consider with Sancho, is that he probably really, really, really does want to go. I don't think he's put his Instagram back from Dortmund yet, has he? So, this is a player that does want to leave Manchester United and could end up having to stay at Manchester United, which is not, it's probably just going to end up with him going on loan in January again, isn't it? So let's see. I know they got Doué, but what I'm talking about, Doué's not Mbappe, is he? He's potential. I think I expected PSG, after Mbappe went, to go and get a real status signing, and they haven't. So, look, maybe there's something there in the last few days, because Manchester United and PSG have apparently been in talks about multiple things for a long time now. But it doesn't feel like it's getting anywhere, does it? Sancho, get out, says Angel Bomb. Just on Rabiot as well. I want to go through all the topical stuff before I talk about we're ready and why I think we're ready for this season. But Rabiot, apparently L'Equipe, which is also a French outlet, are saying that Rabiot Liverpool could be happening now. So does that, would you take Rabiot? I just want to do a quick sort of straw poll on this, because I think with Rabiot, a lot of people have sort of dismissed it because he's a mercenary and he wants a lot of money and his mum's his agent and all that jazz. But actually, if he ends up going to Liverpool, Rabiot will suddenly have a shitload of credibility. So would you like to take Rabiot at Manchester United? Does that Liverpool interest suddenly prick your ears up? I've always been a fan of Rabiot. I'm just not a fan of his wage. I think that, to me, is the biggest problem. But if he ends up at Liverpool and does quite well, I think a lot of people will look at that and go, why didn't we do anything about it? But it'd be interesting if he does go to Liverpool and what the wage would be, really. If the Ugarte fee comes down, this might be the first window in a decade where I feel like we haven't overpaid for anyone, says Patrick. You know what, though, Patrick? The fee is meant to be £51 million, which is still 60 million euros. I don't think we can get that deal down. And I tell you what, you make a great point, Patrick, because if we pay 60 million euros for Ugarte, we've overpaid. And we haven't overpaid really on anyone other than Yoro. So it'd be a bad way for Ineos to end the window overpaying, wouldn't it? Because they've actually done quite a lot of decent signings. But look, I was the reason I was late. I was in the pub and I was talking to a Villa fan, and they said, "You know what? I think you've done some good signing." And they'd had a few, typical Villa fan, and they said, "You know what? You've had really up themselves because they're in the Champions League." I was like, I was actually saying I like Villa. You've done really well, but it was just still giving it the big one, and it was like. You know what? You've made some good signings this year. You might challenge with us, but this Ineos stuff gets on my bloody nerves. I was like, oh yeah, why is that? He says, at the end of the day, that Ugarte is not worth 30 million, let alone 60. And if you pay that, then it's just the Glazers again. And you've not sold anybody either. You're having a bloody party over nothing. And I was like, I need to leave. I've got an 8 o'clock show to do and I'm 15 minutes late. But then on the drive back, I wasn't driving. I was thinking, you know what? If we finish the window overpaying for Ugarte, and actually we haven't really got rid of anybody, I don't think it's been a bad window, but I wouldn't say it's a sensational, put a dress on and have a dance time. I think it's been, probably 6, 7 out of 10, to be honest. But look, the price they're talking about, 51 million, is too much. If Ugarte can vastly limit the counter-attacks we are so invulnerable to, that will make a huge difference. Our centre midfields are non-existent in those moments, says Ram. Angel Bomb says, Sancho, get out. I mean, I'm just going to freestyle a little bit here. When we played Fulham last week, we were really different. We weren't Liverpool different. We were certainly not Man City or Arsenal different, but we were different. Like, we did press. We especially in the first half, we were very good on the high ball recovery. The problem was we didn't have a striker. I'd like to have seen us in the first half with Xerxes up front, winning the ball high up with Mainu and Bruno and Casemiro. I think we were a very different team. And I don't think people have picked up on that. I think there's a lot of negativity around United. And I don't think we got enough praise for the fact that we had 3 or 4 good chances. We didn't concede many chances, and we actually did press. I think there was, obviously I'm always excited about a United game, but the Brighton game I'm actually very excited for, because I actually think there was a real sign of a different United. Yes, I would get Rabiot. It's a no-brainer, says Ben Jones. Hi, Mark. I've just finished your book. It's a great read, says Ashley. How would you rate the transfer window so far, and what else would you like to see keep up the good work? Well, I'm going to talk about that in more general sense in a moment, Ashley. I think the outgoings have been massively disappointing. Knowing United wanted Casemiro out, Maguire out, Lindelof out, Eriksen out, Sancho out, McTominay out, and they're all still here. That's massively disappointing. And I did say at the start of the window, for me, it's more about outgoings than incomings. But the incomings have been very impressive. So I think it's a bit of a halfway house for me at the moment. 25 million for Skip, 50 million for Ugarte. Okay, says Scott Page. How's about this then? Liverpool have just sold some guy called Van der Berg for 20 million. Barely heard of him. Spurs are selling Skip for 25 million. We can't sell fucking McTominay for 25 million. There's a big message there, isn't there? The rest of the world doesn't think McTominay is as good as Ten Hag thinks he is. That's the bottom line. Apparently Ten Hag wants to keep him. Explain that one to me. Why is Skip going for 25 million, but no one will give us 25 million for McTominay? Because he isn't actually as good as Ten Hag thinks he is. Nobody bloody wants him for 25 million. I can't believe we can't get 25 million for McTominay. I genuinely think he is worth 25 million, but obviously the rest of the world doesn't. Hi, Mark. Please wish Sam from Denton good luck in his interview tomorrow. Potentially one of the biggest here we goes of the summer if it comes off, says Josh Davies. Good luck, Sam from Denton. Got to say, you gotta be kidding me when he signs, says Paul. Probably works better in your mind. Absolutely, I'd take Rabiot. It's a no-brainer, says Ben. I think we've done that one. And if the Ugarte I've done that one. If Ugarte can I've done that one. Sancho get out, I've done that one. Should Ugarte ask for a transfer if it drags on, says Alan Noonan. I think he effectively has, mate. Mark, it's my mate Joe's 23rd birthday and he finds you very attractive. Can you please call him a prat, says Barnaby. You're a prat, Joe, but you've obviously got very good taste. I will say that. Daniel 11 says, hoping Ugarte will make the difference for our season. I love the show. Keep it up. It's 5 a.m. in Australia after ACL surgery and your show has saved me. Lovely, Daniel. Hope you're doing well. All the best with your recovery. Karna Dave says, Yoro is open to a move to Manchester United. It's still sports news. Nathan Thomas says, I've just heard Yoro is interested in joining Man United. And Glenn C says, it's like when clubs or players are insisting. And I feel as if the club as a whole got better at sales with the sell-on feed and buyback clauses, but Dan James still remains our best sale in recent history. Ineos need to do better, says this is for Shalin. And interesting to see how many first-teamers still survive from the dying days of Rangnick. Maybe only Bruno, Rashford and Deleuze, says Michael Neal. Good evening, Mark. Any update with the lunch boxes, says Don J. Yo, Mark, can you do a Scottish accent? And Random Guy says, people are so addicted to the show, they can't wait 15 minutes. Simon Evans has gifted a membership. Thank you very much for that. Lunch boxes, I think you're referring to cost cutting at United, whereby they are, stopping complimentary programs for staff and lunch boxes to save money so they can spend more on the squad. I mean, I don't actually agree with that. It might be a bit controversial, might be a bit power to the people, but I don't actually agree with making 200 people redundant who actually rely and work hard to give, another 100 grand to a Man United player who's a mercenary. I don't agree with cutting, lunchtime rewards for hard-working members of staff so that we can give another 10, 20 grand to a mercenary footballer. I don't. Sorry. I hope that changes. I hope we're not going to have mercenaries playing for us anymore. But you know what? Actually, it's just reminding me of something that I want to call out as absolutely disgusting. You know what? Although I think we've had a few mercenary footballers at our club, I saw a few people today, and you know what? We can have a laugh. We can have a bit of banter. We can be critical of players who deserve it, and we can praise players who deserve it. But I saw something today numerous times, and I've just forgotten, and I remembered, and it's out of order. And I'm going to try and say this because I don't want to see laughing emojis in the live chat or in the comments about this. So, last night, do I look mad? Because I'm mad. Last night, Manchester United players met for their monthly meal where it's all about camaraderie and team building, right? There was a video going round of the players turning up. Ahmad, Rashford, Garnacho, Yoro, Mainu, Luke Shaw. Somebody said on social media, Luke Shaw, he'll turn up for a Chinese, but he won't turn up to play for Man United for 7 years. Typical. And I thought, that's just being fattest. That is. What's that all about? He turns up injured for a night out with the lads, and then people are having a go at him because it's food related. Come on, we're better than that. We're better than that. My face didn't break into a smile once. Not even when I first read it. I thought there's no need for that. It's not his fault he's injured. He just wants to come out for something to eat with the lads. Team building. Sometimes you take it too far. You take it too far. Too far. Anyway, I didn't laugh about it at all. And I tell you what, you can laugh about him having a Chinese. He'll be making you eat his words. His words you'll be eating when he gets back fit and he's still the best left back in Europe. But I still think he'll be injured again before Christmas because I've already done a bloody video about it. Hi, Mark. How concerned are you about a toxic locker room knowing most of these players are going to stay and not play? Yeah, Bernard, I think that, You make a good point, Bernard. You can't change a mentality and a dressing room if you don't get rid of the right sort of people. You're very, very right. Rabiot and Amrabat is cheaper than Ugarte, says Keel. Scott, last year of contract, 25 million or nothing, says Connor. Skip will be on a lower salary. That's the problem. Pay more in transfers fee and less on salary. Can't do that if you want a United player. No, but he's on a really low salary, McTominay. He's on about 60k. Hi, Mark. Love your lives. They make my day. You're a legend, says Don Edits. Where do you think we'll finish this season? And do you think Ugarte will be our last transfer? Don, it's almost like me and you are in rhythm. Yeah, you know, it is. It's like Cole and York. Where it's like you know what I'm going to talk about next without me saying it. Because I'm going to talk about it next, Don. Zeno says Chiesa 15 million. Dead cheap for that calibre of player. If Sancho out, then we should look into him. It's a great deal for whoever goes for it. I suppose Chiesa is a bit like the winger version of Rabiot, isn't it? You know, there's a lot of people sort of like saying don't do it. But then if Liverpool do it, you'll go, oh, we should have done it. Remember PSG lost Messi, Neymar and Mbappe, says Angel Bomb. That's what I mean. And Miles says, Rabiot, fantastic player, but like you say, only works if the wages are within reason. I think Ugarte and maybe one outgoing will be our summer done, says Miles. You know my thoughts, says Keel. Yeah, Rabiot and Amrabat. And Samir says, I love watching your shows, Mark, especially the night ones. Ooh. Hi, Mark. Completely off topic. What do you think of Cristiano's YouTube channel, says Hasha? Well, we don't know what content he's going to do. I mean, if he's going to do videos about Man City getting relegated for cheating, I'm in. If it's just going to be him doing kick-ups in his back garden, showing off his abs, I'm in. Hi, Mark. Completely off topic. What do you have done that one? The left back we need, Katara. Stats, says Ben Jones. And no to Rabiot, says Patrick St. Pierre. Done with expensive mercenaries we can't sell. What's the plan if he flops next year and then we have another 250k player? But Patrick, what if he goes to Liverpool and he's bloody brilliant? Don't know why the media are laughing at Man United's transfer business, says My Trousers. Yes, I would get Rabiot. It's a no-brainer. Well, look, a lot of questions there talking about whether Ugarte is going to be our last transfer. Well, the title of the show is finished. Ugarte transfer is it. Because that's what I think it is it. I think that's it. It's done. I think it's going to be Ugarte and it is done. But I've also got a message of positivity as well. I think it's enough. I do. I think that within the confines of the transfer window, you always want more. And we should have got a left back and maybe we should get 2 midfielders. But I was thinking about it today. It might not be the perfect transfer window. Keeping some of these players that should have been got rid of makes Ineos look weak to a certain extent. I agree. Not getting in a left back will be our own problem if it really goes wrong. But then I look at it and I go, look at our centre-back roster. Look, Maguire and Lindelof might not go because they're on good money. But at the end of the day, our centre-back roster is Martinez, Yoro, De Ligt, Maguire, Lindelof and Johnny Evans. Newcastle have got Shaw and Botman. Spurs have got Dragusin, Romero and Van der Ven. Villa have got Konza, Torres. I think Longley's gone and Tyrone Mings is injured still. Like the depth of... Look, do I want Lindelof and Maguire still to be here? It doesn't matter. They are here. And they're very experienced players. Can they play a high line? Probably not. But we've also got Yoro, De Ligt and Martinez. The depth of centre-backs we've got this season should get us top 4. Full-backs, I'm a little bit worried, to be honest with you, because I don't know whether you can rely on Shaw and Malacia, but we have got Mazraoui and we have got Delo. In the midfield, Casemiro, I'm 100% sure Ugarte will come in. Mainu, Collier, Ericsson, McTominay, Mount, Bruno. 8 midfielders. Yes, there's 2 or 3 I would get rid of, the same as Maguire and Lindelof, but they're here. And it is depth. It's not great depth, but it's still depth. Wingers, Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad, Anthony, Sancho. Yeah, there's probably 2 there I wouldn't really want to be here, but they are here. It's depth. Again, Rasmus, Xerxes. Who knows what's going to happen with this 16-year-old? Look, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but we're not trying to win the league. We're not trying to finish second, and we're probably not trying to finish third. but we are ready to win the Europa League and get 4th place. And that is what many of us spoke about all summer. We're not going for the title this year. If we did, happy days, but we're not going for the title this year. We're going for top 4 and hopefully compete for the Europa League or another domestic trophy. And I look at that squad and I go, unless we have an absolute pandemic of injuries, it's not perfect. There are players that should have gone, but by them staying, it's not our fault as fans. Ineos have got to pay the bloody wages, not us. But the amount of players we've actually got, whether you like Lindelof, whether you like Eriksen, whether you like Casemiro, Maguire, Rashford, Sancho, Bruno, whatever, Mount, Onana, there's so many players that you may or may not want to be at the football club anymore. But actually, I think we're ready. I think Ugarte comes in and we're done. Yes, I would have liked a left back. Yes, I would have liked a few more players out replaced. But actually, is there not an argument to say, look, it could have been a lot better and maybe it should have been a lot better? There were 7 players that needed to go. 6 of them are still here. There was a couple of players that we needed to bring in that aren't here. But actually, what we've got should get us 4th place. And we're ready. In my opinion, we're ready. I don't look at this squad now and go, it shouldn't get 4th place. It's not what I wanted. I did want a little bit more in relation to incomings and I wanted a lot more in relation to outgoings. But I still look at it post Ugarte and go, we should be getting 4th place with this squad. And I know Robert McCormack will have a right big grin on his face because he wants everybody to demand top 4 out of this team and Ten Hag. But I do look at it now and I go, yeah, I see a lot of people talking about it's not perfect, we haven't sold enough players and we could have brought a couple more in. But actually, when you go through that squad, it should get top 4. We've got way better centre-back options than every other club apart from probably Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City and Chelsea. We've got a lot of midfield options probably apart from the same. And look, people will say, well, we're 5th then because of Chelsea. But Chelsea are Chelsea. Chelsea got too many players. I think 4th place is there for Manchester United this season based on what we have. And yes, there are a few players that shouldn't be here, but surely they're going to be looking to put themselves in the shop window. I mean, I think Victor Lindelof, Christian Eriksen, Jadon Sancho, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, all these players that maybe we should have got rid of, surely they're going to be pushing because they want to get a move next summer. Surely they're going to be motivated. So I choose to see the positive here. I think we can spend so much time moaning about, oh, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. And we should have done a lot more. But we're not trying to win the league. We wouldn't win the league with this squad, but we should still get 4th. Not guaranteeing it, but we should still get 4th with this squad. It's not ideal, but there's a lot in it. Why nobody's talking about Ethan Wheatley, says Slash. I mean, I quite like the fact that we're not talking about Ethan Wheatley because, there's low expectations on a young player, which is what it should all be about. Glenn C says, your signature in your book was a bit basic. If I bring it to a live show, can you personalise it for me like to Glenn the Pratt? A good book anyway. Yeah, Glenn, signed copy normally means it's signed. But yes, if we ever meet, I will happily personalise it for you. I don't think the likes of Ashworth and Barada will ignore the January window as well, says Emily Derry. And this is a great point. So that could be an opportunity for our outgoings. Look, I want to read some of your comments out on this because, we go through all the transfer stuff and it's absolutely fantastic. But I want to, this is something that I hadn't actually thought about a hell of a lot, but really did occur to me today that actually, yeah, this transfer window, I can put a lot of holes in it. Definitely can put a lot of holes in it. But when I actually look at it, we want to win. We want to challenge for titles. We want to finish in the top few positions. And the squad's not good enough to do that. There's still too much deadwood here. We still need 2 or 3 players in to even get anywhere near that. But when I actually look at it, I do think that we've got more than enough to get 4th place. And if you don't think we've got enough to get top 4, then I don't know what you think top 4 is in the Premier League. I mean, Villa did it last year. It won't be easy, but we have got enough. And we were only 8 points off 4th last season, says Shahin. Exactly. 4th place. You don't need 80 points. You probably need 70. When was the last time we bought a young CDM, says Akil? Good question. I've done that one from Glen C. Not Gary Neville, just a regular guy going through a tough time, says Rayan. I don't know what that means. United has to aim for the stars to land on the moon, says Kia. And Rashford could have been sold for good value. This would have allowed us to keep Pellistri and better utilise Sancho, says Red Devil. And Andy Bell says, I've just finished the book, Mark. Brilliant and very funny. I played semi-pro level, but your analysis is as good as anything I've heard. Andy Bell, you're an absolute legend. Thank you very much for buying the book. Luke Shaw loves those extra doner kebabs, says Abhijit. You're a disgrace, mate. You're a bloody disgrace, and no one's laughing. Hi, Mark. Been watching since the Ollie days, says Nam. Absolute workhorse and inspiration for making a living out of doing what you love. Cheers from the USA. Thank you very much, pal. And then Nathan Thomas says, I'd use the 6 million we got for Pellistri to chuck on top of what we wanted to pay for Ugarte. I'd rather the headache of overpaying on this one than being the laughing stock of signing any of the alternatives we get linked to, says Nathan Thomas. Well, just going back to Ugarte, Fabrizio's update today was pretty much the same as Pletigol. United are in love with Ugarte, and he's in love with Man United, and PSG are in love with the idea of selling him to Man United, and George Mendes is in love with the idea of making loads of money out of another deal. But he also said that despite all the stories of alternatives and pivots and all that stuff, Manchester United has always been tunnel visioned on Ugarte. Look, I know there's a lot of repetition around Ugarte. There definitely is a lot of repetition about him. But the positive of that is that basically the reason all these credible journalists keep coming out with a daily update on Ugarte saying it's close, everybody wants it, everyone wants it, is because actually it's going to happen. That's why. And their job depends on, being around this story. So it's like a photographer in the olden days photographing Princess Diana. Oh, it's another day and she's on the boat, or it's another day and she's at another charity event. Photograph. It's this, it's just it's the same thing in a different outfit. And that's exactly what these journalists are doing. They're buzzing around a story that they know is going to happen. So they're going, oh, yeah, Ugarte, Man United, he's pushing, and PSG want to do a deal, and because they know it's going to happen. So they're just staying around the story so they can be around the story. I'm absolutely convinced this deal is going to happen. It's just nobody knows when. Lucas says, do you think Todibo was loaned to West Ham so that United could have a season for the lawyers to sort out the case so we could buy him next summer? Luca, I don't actually know the ins and outs of the West Ham case, the West Ham transfer of Todibo. I know, actually, I'll have a quick look, but I know that we've got a buyback clause with Pellistri, by the way. West Ham is delighted to announce the signing of French international Todibo. The 24-year-old joins the Hammers on an initial season-long loan with an option to make the transfer permanent in summer 2025. So does that mean that if they've got an option to buy, it just depends what the option is. The deal is initial loan with an option to buy for 35 million. They had an agreement earlier this summer for a loan with an option to buy for 27 million. But it was delayed as the players believed to be waiting for a deal to Juventus. I think Man United have moved on from Todibo. I don't think that's been done to allow us to get him next summer. I think we've moved on from Todibo. We've got De Ligt and we've got Yoro, and they're both right-footed. So no is the answer. I don't think Luca that I think Todibo was a prime target in March, but I think we moved on after the UEFA thing, to be fair. Rabiot wouldn't be bad right now as a stopgap. He might be amazing like Casemiro's first season. Just don't sign him on a long-term contract, says Dex. If Casemiro's staying and we're getting Ugarte, we don't actually need Rabiot, do we? Hi, Mark. With Chelsea trying to trim their squad, would you take Chilwell as a left-back? God, no. No. He's ruined it. He's ruined it. He's ruined it. No more topics. They've discontinued them. No more topics. No more Karamax. No. Absolutely not. I tweeted this earlier, right? I can't understand what type of idiot would even say that. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. Ben Chilwell makes Luke Shaw look like a bloody Iron Man. Invincible. Ben Chilwell, right? In 2024, 4 injuries. Knee problem, ill, knee problem. No, that's just in 2024. That's not last season. That's just 2024. Knee problem, ill. All this year. All this year. 2023. Fitness problem, hamstring, cruciate ligament tear. Mate, I know Chilwell. I'm English. I know Chilwell. Didn't go to the Euros because he wasn't good enough. Didn't go to the Euros because he's probably bloody injured. You can't go anywhere near Chilwell. You can't go anywhere near him. Going near Chilwell is like Chilwell's a nut and you've got a nut allergy. Don't start moaning when you start having problems. He's injury prone, mate. He's injury prone. He's a good left back, but he's injury prone. He's Luke Shaw with a different name. No, don't go anywhere near him. Don't go anywhere near Luke Chilwell. Don't. No. No. I'm telling you now, it's the scariest deal we could ever do. I don't think United want to do it. I really don't. And also, the reason not to do it is all those injuries, yeah? That's the reason. It's staring you in the face. It's like a bloody emergency first aid kit. Don't do it. But on top of that, he's massively injury prone. It's a massive risk. But on top of that, why would you walk up to Chelsea and go, hey, Chelsea, I know you're one of our biggest rivals. I know you want to take the top 4. But I know you're spending a lot of money on players as well. And I know you're really coming from that top 4 place, which is probably just between, hey, Chelsea, let's talk. Let's just share a drink. Probably top 4, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. There's one spot. It's probably me against you, brother. You have bought most of Europe. But you know what? I want to help a brother out. I want to help you out a little bit more. You know that left back you've got that's injury prone that no one wants? Yeah. You heard it first. I'm going to give you money for it and help you out. Yeah, man. Yeah. What a load of shit. What a load of crap. Why would you even help Chelsea, who are probably our biggest rival for 4th place at the moment? Why would you take their problem off their hands so they can go and buy a proper left back? Mark, Rayan, Super Chat donation, mate. I don't need any advice on how to go through the Super Chats. Thank you very much. I will go through them as I always do. Alan Noonan, thank you very much for your Super Chat. Jackie Boy says, Chilwell got worse knees than Goldbridge and my nan combined. He takes one step and he's out for a month. There's nothing wrong with my knees, Jackie Boy. When do you think Ugarte will be official? I think any time between now and next Friday. Chilwell name needs to be banned from this chat, says John. And Sag says, hi Mark, Sancho staying at United is a concern. Imagine fighting with the manager and then you end up staying. What kind of message does this give to the players? Total disrespect. He should be shipped out. Sag makes a great point, but ultimately, I think that the most important thing with Jadon Sancho is that he is... would you rather he was sat at home not getting on with Ten Hag or his training getting on with Ten Hag? We're trying to sell him. It's as simple as that. and we can't really do any more, you know. Please no Chilwell, says Smoggy. Thought PSG would pay us players on a Ugarte deal to get Qatari revenge for Jazim. Hope this gets done. P.S. Ralph Lauren should sponsor you some shirts. Mo, I think Ralph Lauren ain't going to send me any shirts. It'd be like Porsche sending me a Porsche. LMP says, are we getting Ugarte now and then putting Casemiro out to be replaced with Editon next season? How good is our midfield potentially next season? I think it's good enough to get top four, mate. Jem says, shout out to Rayan for the £300 super chat. Says, £300 super chat? Gems, what are we on about here? Mark, someone going through a rough time donated £300. Show him some love, says Aidan. What? Man United is a ship being recommissioned, says Summit. What's a Liverpool, says Wurzel. I think you missed my super chat, says Simon. Zayn Miasi's gifted a membership. Thanks, Zayn. Arsenal are going to sign Osman. If you do, it'd be a very good signing. Glazers out, says Kerpel. James Guy says fullback. Defensive midfielder, centre-back are still a couple of injuries away from having to play a more regressive style of play again, says James. And we're only okay. Okay, what's this Rayan one that I've completely missed? Emily Derry, not Gary Neville. Rayan, $4.99. Mojo, I believe that the reason why we are unable to sell our players is the wages, of course, but because we have let the quality in the squad deteriorate, it has led to consistent poor performances and there's trolls everywhere, affecting sales proposition. Thank you, Mojo, a big legend of the chat. Why are you all seeing this Rayan chat and I can't even bloody see it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Right, bloody hell, Rayan. That's very, very generous. No wonder everyone in the chat's been going on about it. Okay, there's a few super chats I hadn't got to yet. Okay. Mark, don't forget Mainu can play as left back, says Enfo. Okay. Not so sure about that one. Ramesh says, random question. Is there a beef between Roy Keane and Ten Hag? What's that about? The post-match interaction seemed to imply there was. I think Roy Keane's actually been... You know, Roy Keane has actually probably been one of the better pundits around Ten Hag because he says it how it is, but I think he actually likes Ten Hag, whereas I think Neville actually doesn't have the balls to say he doesn't like Ten Hag, but is clearly trying to put pressure on him, in my opinion. I don't think there is a warmness towards Ten Hag from our ex-player community, but I actually feel like Roy Keane does like him. Michael says, Mark's had a shock. I haven't had a shocker at all. I read all super chats. Take a fucking chill pill. I'm working through them. And Rayan has given a very generous super chat. Of course he has. And it will be read. And maybe I'm leaving it towards the end so I can actually spend some time on it. But there are other ones I'm working back to. So I don't miss them. You don't run this show. I'll read it when I want to read it. And when I get to it, it will get the credit and conversation it deserves. But I'm not going to rush to it like some fucking fly around shit going, because you lot tell me to do it. Have some fucking respect. There are other people I am working towards, and that's right. Rayan will get his moment. Just chill out. Fucking hell. Start of the show, I've got someone going, oh, the disrespect for being late. It's a fucking YouTube channel. It's a YouTube channel. It's free. We're a community. I'm not going to just end the stream and you're all going to go, oh my God, I can't believe you didn't read Rayan's super chat. Maybe I'm looking forward to Rayan's super chat. Maybe I haven't even seen it yet. Maybe I'm working towards it so we can spend a bit of time on it. Just chill out. Robert McCormack. Now that's going to really upset them because I haven't gone to it yet. Robert McCormack says, Mount did most counter presses last weekend, more than anyone in the league. Eric Ten Hag will love that and want him in the team most games. He's a pressing monster. Robert, we're going to go from a shit chat to a great chat with Rayan because he is next, because he's right below Robert. Robert, that's one of your worst contributions ever. You're going to get absolutely mullered by me here. Mount did more counter presses last week than anyone else. Mate, you sound like bloody Statman Dave. You sound like Jamie Carragher and his trainers. Counter pressers? What's that? Robert, you're better than that. Mount did more counter presses last weekend. What the fuck's that, mate? More than anyone in the league? Fucking hell, mate. Let's start him every week. He did more counter presses than everybody else. He can go. I'll tell you what, mate. I don't care whether it's counter press or bench press. We can't play Bruno and Mount, mate. It's bloody clear. We don't. Bruno and Mount don't work. So if we're going to play Bruno and Mount every week because Mount counter presses well, I'm sorry, it's not going to be good enough. Look, Mason Mount does work hard. He does press really well. He is a pressing monster. But I ain't picking Mason Mount ahead of Xerxes or Rasmus any day of the week. We need a bloody striker in that team. I don't know where Mount fits in, but counter-pressing ain't going to do it. Right, everyone get ready. This is what you've been waiting for. Rayan has super chatted 300 quid, which I don't think we have had before, but that is incredible. I've got no idea why he's done it. Rayan, absolutely incredibly generous. Thank you very much. And as a gesture of appreciation, because it's a very, very generous super chat, and I feel that the United stand is so big and it's been going around for so long that to many people is obviously a considerable amount of money. So the only thing I can really do to that is because, you know, it's a massive channel and it does very, very well. I am going to gift an amount of super chats that's going to touch roughly what you've donated there, because it's a very, very generous thing. So I'm going to just go and gift out a number of super chats for in relation to that now. But let me read your message first. Kind sir, you coming online with an update keeps me going and gives me a reason to hold on. Thank you for your hard work you do. I literally go off to sleep listening to this. Only thing which helps. My parents also want to thank you because listening to you keeps me sane. I'm Prime Carlton Palmer is a legend. Well, you've clearly read the book, mate. You've clearly read the book. And I'm glad you know who Carlton Palmer is, because it's the nicest thing somebody ever said to me. And I think it was a compliment. You need to read. If you've read the book, you know. But yeah, it was it's the best compliment I've ever been paid. But look, you know what? On a serious note, I'm just a part of this amazing community, and look, I get out as much as what everybody else gets out of this as well. It's live. It's been doing it for 10 years. It's an amazing community. We have our ups, we have our downs, but it's a consistent. It's real. People all around the world are listening in and getting involved, and it's a very, very special community. So right, Rayan gifted 290 quid there. So I'm going to gift 50 memberships, which is more or less, well, it's a little bit less, but I will gift 50 memberships now to cover that off. So Rayan, you're an absolute legend, and we'll chuck it straight back into the community, which I'm sure you'll agree is a good use of that super chat, mate. So let me just sort this out, and we should have 50 memberships flying into the chat now for the community. So everyone give a big shout out to Rayan for that very generous super chat, and we'll chuck it back into those who are watching live, and we'll have 50 new memberships in there. Absolute legend, Rayan, and I'm sure everybody in the chat is backing that up as well. And hopefully, have they gone in, the memberships? Yes, there we go. There we go. Get your badge in. Lovely stuff. If we get Braithwaite, would you play him as a left back? Branthwaite, you mean, Rushell. Similar to how Pep plays. Look, if we bring Branthwaite in, I don't think it's going to happen now, but if we did bring him in, we could have used him as a left back, yes. Exactly how they use Vardy, or exactly how Arsenal use Ben White, or how they'll probably use Calafiori. Well said Jason Day. Thank you very much, mate. Do you think Tagliafico would be a good signing to cover the left-back position? Love your videos, says Tim. I said this morning that I think we might bring in a left-back. It's not going to be Kadioglu. It's not going to be Gutierrez. We've not got the money to do that. But I think we might bring some sort of left-back in, you know, low-hanging fruit, loan deal, short-term, whatever. Someone said that Mount is a glorified Fred. Look, Landon, I like Mason Mount. And I think at Chelsea, he won me over. Look, there's never any point in not being honest. Trust me, the modern footballer doesn't need mine or your verification. They've got more than enough people licking their arse from a very young age. That sounds wrong, but what I mean is the modern footballer is wrapped up in cotton wool and surrounded by money and people who will just kiss their arse. They don't need me to be fakely nice. We as fans are there to put Manchester United Football Club first. I don't need to do Player FC. I don't need to go, I feel really sorry for this player. I really hope it works out and I'm going to give him hundreds of chances because I just want him to do well. Fuck that. I want Man United to do well. My loyalty is to Manchester United. That's it. I support Manchester United. I don't support individual players and I'm not here to just champion a player that's not good enough. So when I look at someone like Mason Mount, I think at Chelsea, very, very good player. I didn't think he was at the start, but he won me over. And that's as a rival club. It takes a lot for me to say a rival player's good, and they probably are good. But my biggest issue with Mason Mount is a lot of people didn't want it when it happened and said, why are we doing it? I said, I don't think we need to do it, but I'm intrigued by it. I am intrigued by it. And I'm still confused by it. I still don't know what it is. I don't know why we gave him the number 7 shirt. That to me was just horrific. You know what? It's not his fault. He never should have been given the number 7 shirt. I think we've disrespected the number 7 shirt for 10 years. It's almost like a Glazer thing. You can't blame Ineos for it. Some of the handing out of that number 7 shirt is just a joke. It's like it's a bloody teacup in a bloody cupboard when someone comes round for a cup of tea. Oh, do you want to use the special mug? I don't get that at all. That's something very, very different. And I still do see Mason Mount as a Chelsea player as well, which is a big indicator that he's not settled yet. So I live in hope that he will become a Man United player because I still see him as a Chelsea player. I still don't understand what his role is, and I still don't understand why we gave him the number 7 shirt. But what I will say is, I think he's a good player. I just don't know where he's going to fit in. I disagree with people who say he's not good at football. I think he is good at football. The funny thing is, at Chelsea, he was already on the decline when we bought him, though. Like, he was already being left out of England squads by Southgate, and he was already on a bit of a dip at Chelsea. So we bought an underperforming player who hasn't been able to arrest that slump yet. I think, like Robert McCormack says, he does have a very good work ethic. He's got to stay fit until Christmas. But I don't know where he fits into this team. And what I don't want to happen is Ten Hag to go into stubborn mode where he does start playing Bruno and Mount just to get Mount in the team. Like, it's going to be really interesting. But he's one of the few players that have got a lot to prove this season. I believe he's a good player. I just don't get where he fits in. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not negative. That's intrigue. I don't know where he fits in at United. Someone was slamming Mount the other day saying he could have changed numbers but didn't, says Alfie. I wouldn't change it. Memes aren't dreams. Welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I like Mount. I just don't see how he fits in the team. Bruno here. I'm exactly the same as you, Steve. Forget opinion. Eric Ten Hag will want Mount in the team, says Robert. Well, that's what I just said, Robert, there. And, you know, you aren't always pro about Ten Hag, and I am. But I you know, if Ten Hag wants to go down that route of trying to shoehorn Mount and Bruno into the same team, I think we'll struggle. I don't think it'll work. I think you've got to have a striker in that team. And where does Mount fit in? Because you've got to have Mainu, you've got to have a 6, you've got to have 2 wingers. I just don't see where he fits in, to be honest. I think we all know he bought him to start, but I think Mainu's development killed off the plan for Mount. We need a left back to get top 4. Injury and no left back, says Tox. And LMP says, you ever think about how someone will have been starting secondary school when started watching you and end up in uni or in work and still watching? It's amazing. Hope you keep going for a long time, says LMP. You know, the great thing about this community is I was down the pub today and I met somebody. I live in the Midlands, which is in the middle of England, and where I actually live, I mean, it's not a bad area, but there's an amazing amount of people where I live who support Manchester United. And on top of that, there's an amazing amount of people where I live who support Manchester United and are season ticket holders as well. Look, there's a lot of people in London, which is further away from Manchester than where I live. But look, a lot of people are from Manchester and support Manchester United, but there's a lot of people in the UK who support Manchester United and travel 1, 2, 3 hours every time there's a match to go and watch it. And I was talking to this season ticket holder tonight, and he goes to watch Man United every home game. He's got a season ticket holder. Don't go to the away games very often, but they go to United season ticket holders in the Sir Alex Ferguson stand every home game. And he was about, well, I don't know how old he was because I didn't ask him, but he's definitely in his late 30s, early 40s. His dad's into his 70s now. And he was like, oh, me and my dad, we watch all the time. I'm always messaging my dad after the show and everything like that. And this afternoon, I was down the local Sainsbury's with Seb, just buying some stuff, and these teenagers come up and, oh, Goldbridge, Goldbridge, Goldbridge. And I think, you know what, that's the thing I'm proud of the most, is that the fact that this community transcends different age groups is something that, you know, personally I find great, because I just think that's what football is. Football is something that transcends age groups. You know, there'll be people who are in their 70s watching this. There'll be people who are like 12, 13 watching this. And that's absolutely great, because that's what football is. More important to us, that's what Manchester United is. It's so diverse. And there's people all around the world watching. It's 5 a.m. in Australia. It's another time in somewhere else. And we're all connected by this love and passion and conversation and opinion for specifically Manchester United. And we all share in that, because you know what? It's nearly 10 years since we've been doing this, but if you go back 10 years ago, there was nothing like this. Nothing that was instantly interactive and communicative like we have. There's always been forums. If there wasn't fan forums, the United Stand would have never existed, because I was always on forums, BBC 606 and all sorts of stuff for years. I loved that interactive type of way, but you had to wait like 10 minutes for someone to read it and then reply. So that was the sort of birth. A lot of people think fanzines were the birth of this, and I suppose in a way they were, but actually interaction is what this is all about. And for me, what gave me the idea to start doing this was actually being on fan forums, typing away, you know, the old style ones. And that's what led to this. And although there's a lot of people who do this now, you've got to understand and respect that. We were sort of the first to do it in the way that we did it, with the live shows and the interaction. And it's become the norm now, and it's incredible. But it is incredible because 10 years ago, it wasn't really there. So never forget what you are as a community. And God knows what will be there in 10 years, because there might be somebody else out there watching this now going, I think there's something else we can do. And, you know, it's so great. It's so great for like the most important people in football, which are fans. That's what it's all about. Big Boys gifted a membership. Shane Moore, welcome to Members Club. Do you think United would let me wear the number 7 shirt as well, says Landon? And I don't know what to write. Just really wanted to write something, says Yusuf. That's one of the most interesting super chats we've ever had. Glazers out, says Kerpel. And the Duke says, in basketball, a 6-man is very important. They come off the bench, put up 15 points and keep the energy. Mount is a great 6-man. Yeah, well, that's where I think Mason Mount does fit in, actually. I do agree with that, the Duke. That's where I think I'm comfortable with Mount. But do you think he's comfortable with that? Do you think United are comfortable with that? He's on 250 grand a week. He's one of the best earners at the club. He's wearing the number 7 shirt, and we paid £55 million for him. I agree with the Duke. I think Mason Mount as the 6th man or the bench option, I completely agree. That's probably where if I had to say what's he going to be, that's what he's going to be. But he's on 250k a week. He's got the number 7 shirt, and we paid 55 million quid for him. I don't think that was the plan. And I don't think that can be the plan. And therefore, how are we going to fit him in then? We didn't pay that money, give that number, and give him those wages to be the sixth man? We didn't. So what did we give it for? Or was it a mistake? Do you think Gary Neville is right when he says we will play split strikers and pack the midfield, or do you think it's rubbish, says Ian? Haven't heard the context, Ian, but would probably refer to it's rubbish. Someone was slamming Mount. I've done that one as well. I suppose what he's talking about with split strikers is the wide men being the strikers and the midfield being packed with four. Look, we'll find out against Brighton. Look, we're previewing Brighton tomorrow. Predicted lineups, not the lineup I would pick. I think he'll pick Maguire and bench De Ligt, and he might pick Mount and Bruno again and bench Xerxes. I think if we lose the game, this is where Ten Hag will lose. Look, I think we're ready. I think we'll get top four. I think against Fulham we played in a different way, and I think we can have a very good season. Flip side of that coin, and there is a flip side of that coin. Flip side of that coin, pick the wrong team, lose points, chat shit, get banged. Ten Hag's got no room to wiggle this year. I'll back him because I don't want him to be sacked. But I said the same with Ollie. I said the same with Jose. When it hits year 3, there's nowhere to go. You've got to start getting it right. And if you start doing weird shit, it's time to go. So, look, Ten Hag this season has got to get it right. I didn't fight for Ten Hag in the summer to watch stupid decisions and favouritism. He's got to get it right this season. And anybody who thinks, oh, that's a bit harsh, oh, you're a flip-flop. No. It's called accountability. It's called standards. He shouldn't have got sacked in the summer. No way. And he didn't. Year 3, time to start fucking showing why we backed you. You don't get backed and then I'll just crack on and do what you like. You get backed, time to deliver. Simple as that. And you know what? In a way, there is a history lesson here. I did this with Mourinho. I remember that summer before Mourinho got sacked, and a lot of people were saying sack Mourinho, and I said, no. Give him another summer. Give him another season. And then it hit October. It was fucking shit. And I went, look, it's over. It is over. I can't keep fighting for this anymore because he's lost. Same thing happened with Ollie. It was like it got to a point. So I don't expect that to happen. I think we're going to do a good job this season. But let's not pretend that there is an alternative. It's not a free hit. I would never back that. I would never say we fought for this manager. Let's just stick by him no matter what. It's year 3. If you don't put pressure on a Man United manager, you're doing something wrong. There has to be a pressure. It's not like keep him no matter what. So he's got to get it right this year. As I said, what's the point in picking Maguire when you've spent 42 million on fucking De Ligt? Get De Ligt in that team ASAP. If it's not fit, fine. But at some point in the near future, you've got to get De Ligt in that team. You can't keep picking Maguire because he's playing well. That bullshit won't wash. Get your best players on the pitch. We're not Accrington Stanley. Get your best players on the pitch. United is a big club, and you're unfairly profiting from it, says Lol. Oh, lol. You've got a sad little life, haven't you? I don't think you're going to get a lot of support with that saddo little chat. Started this channel with 10 people watching for the first 6 months, mate. Never turned monetization on for 18 months. Had no idea what YouTube was. Just wanted to talk about the club we love. Sad little person, aren't you? Very, very sad. My every morning in the US starts listening to your morning show. Love you all. Thank you, says Iraqi. Thank you, mate. Thanks very much for your support. Hi, Mark. I've been watching your channel for years and thank you for it. My wife just opened a new women's clothing store. Folklore Clothing. Can she get a shout out? She just did, Frank. Folklore Clothing. Caleb's just gifted 5 memberships. You're a legend. Big Boy's just gifted 5 membership as well. Thank you very much to that. And Mark, you're a legend. New member, lifelong red, listening to every show from Boston. Thank you very much, GJ. And you're a legend as well. And I'd rather loan Ugarte and spend extra on a left back, says Al. I don't think that's how it's going to work, to be honest with you. I don't know how that's going to work. Davey says you're making stacks now, though. What is what I make as a... Sorry, I was making stacks before I even started the United Stand. I worked in finance. I was doing very, very well, thank you. What does what I earn got to do with the fact that I go live at 8 o'clock for an hour every night for the last 10 years, talking sincerely and passionately about something I love and people enjoy it? What's that got to do with anything? Do you get onto Rio Ferdinand when he's on BT earning stacks, talking shit because he's doing it for the money? Do you do it for Gary Neville, who's on the overlap and owns that company and is trying to float it to the States to make a load of money out of it? Are you getting onto Gary Neville at all? You know, or is that because he's played the game? Do you have a pop at Gary Lineker or any other presenter who is being paid by Sky? Do you ring up Simon Jordan for getting paid a couple of grand a show to talk shit on TalkSport? What are you talking about? We are the most credible and real community in football, in my opinion, because it started with no idea what it was. This wasn't my job. I didn't even know this was the first thing to do this. I had no concept that this was going to turn into what it was. So when people say it's a money-making exercise, how could it be when I was on 50 grand a year base doing something in my spare time once a week for 18 months? How can it be? I mean, mate, there's simpler ways to make fucking money. Trust me. I never really... Look, people say you're reacting to the troll. Maybe I am. But also, I want to make it very, very clear. How the hell would I know that... I just don't even understand it. I don't even understand it. Because the people who were here at the start, it was one show a week at 8 o'clock on a Sunday for a year with about 100 people watching. You just got no idea. I'd rather you just went and watched the one show or something like that. And I shouldn't react. I feel a massive pang of guilt for even reacting to that. I'm an idiot. I apologise. I shouldn't have done it. I apologise. Keep up the good work, says Frank. Mark Goldbridge, thank you very much, says Don. Who do you think is the worst manager since Sir Alex Ferguson, says Paul? For me, it'll always be Moyes, because he came in like a wrecking ball and destroyed it all. I think it was a hard job, but he didn't need to wreck it all. Thanks anyway. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. And as always, there are challenges in life, and there's sometimes it's impossible to be in a good mood every single day. And somehow we manage to do it every single day. And I wouldn't be able to do it every single day if I didn't want to do it every single day. And over the last 10 years, there's been days where things happen that happen to us all, and you think, oh, I just can't do it today. And then I hit live, and it's escapism. And I can only ever thank you lot for that. So thank you very much. Whatever it means to you, it probably means the same to me and double, treble, because it's been a lifesaver for me at times as well. 100%. There's been times where it's just like, whew, and then you just have this escapism that's... I've always said this, I don't like, although I will do it sometimes and you will see it. You know the little 10-minute videos where it's pre-recorded? I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It has its place and sometimes we have to do it. I always tend to do it for the previews because it's a bit more analytical. But I don't like it because I'm just talking to a camera. And yet I'm talking to a camera now and it's completely different because I can see a live chat and I know there's real people there, and that's my buzz. So I thank you for that. Parker says you should send him a picture of your Bugatti. I'll send him a picture of my Seat Ateca because that's what mate, I don't know whether I could afford a Bugatti. My mate's got a Bugatti. I could definitely afford a Bugatti, but I'm not even that type of person either. I don't give a shit. I mean, I know I'm wearing a Ralph Lauren shirt, but you know, a lot of people wear those. But I'm really not materialistic at all. I still remember the walk to work with Goldbridge. I love those, Steve. I almost wish I still did work in finance because I loved those canal walks to work. I might, you know what? I think at some point, when the transfer window's open, just for a week, I'm going to get up and do 7 o'clock walks streams just for a bit of nostalgia. Stephen's a long-time lurker. Enjoyed the show tonight as always. Ignore the hate. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you for everybody for all your support. Jason says, ignore the haters, have a beer. Thank you for what you've created. Helps many people to be part of this community. Red Army Stan says, ignore the haters. Haters gonna hate. Keep up the good work, says Frank. Well, look, you've all been legendary tonight. Thank you very much. Sorry I was a little bit late earlier as well. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. And tomorrow it's Thursday. We're 2 days away from another game of football. We've got a preview for Brighton tomorrow. I don't know whether Ten Hag's presser is tomorrow, actually. Sometimes he does do it on a Thursday when we're playing on a Saturday. So check that out. Could be Friday. But lots to get involved in. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. And I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.